Thank you very much, everybody, for coming, especially those who came from across the water. I hope you've experienced something that you haven't experienced before. It's a remarkable venue, and this kid's a remarkable fighter. And I've said all along he's going to be. Give Jerry a hand there.
I'm not that bad.
Sorry.
I can manage. But thank you for your.
You're welcome. I really think that Frampton is an exceptional fighter, and I really believe that he can go on to be one of the best Irish fighters that there's ever been. Tonight we fought a kid who was #1 in the world with the IBF, #1 in the world with the WBO, and the top 5 with all the other governing bodies. And Frampton just dismantled him and took him apart. Again, as I say, the atmosphere just gets better and better and better. It's phenomenal. It really is. Have any of you ever experienced a more raucous and atmospheric crowd in the world? Well, Jerry remembers me, which of course was better.
Said he in all modesty, but I wouldn't argue.
Yeah, it was great. So, right, well, the floor's open to you. What about the champ? Are you going to say something?
I'll just far away. I have a question.
The fact that the eyes of kind of millions of fans between the UK and Ireland were on you and this fight tonight, that affected the performance?
No, I don't think it did. It's just, no, it didn't affect my performance. I knew what I had to do. I knew I had to be exciting. I knew that. You all know what, I got a bit of stick for a performance in my career on Sky. I would have thought was very good. I hardly get hit for 12 rounds, but they called it boring. Got a bit of criticism for that. So from that fight against the Royal Rallies, I knew that all my fights need to be exciting, and they have been ever since. But it didn't depend. If there was no one watching that, it still would have been the same result.
There was talk that the disrespect shown by Mr. Avalos during the week, that there was a suggestion that you'd go out of your way to hurt him tonight in the fight. Did that transpire?
No, I was just trying to be. The plan was to box him and to frustrate him at the start, but after 30 seconds of the first round, he was very, very slow, and he was too slow to really hit me clean with anything. I've marked up my face, but he never really hit me that clean.
Quite a bit of the head bash.
He, dirty fighter, hit me with the head a couple of times, hit me when the referee says break a couple of times. But he's just, I wanted to teach him some manners. He was very disrespectful to me. He didn't show me any respect. And to be honest, after the fight, he still wasn't showing me any respect. He just got out of the ring, demanding rematches.
He's concussed though.
But he's just.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's been badly hurt, and he then said, I want a rematch.
Well, I'd give him respect as a fighter, but as a man, I don't really respect him. I still don't like a guy. So.
Barry told me on Thursday night that ideally he wanted it for television purposes. He wanted to go 7-8 rounds. Remember?
Yeah.
Do you think you cheated him?
There were 5 rounds there, and there were 5 good rounds. I suppose they were good enough, and it was a good finish. So he's happy enough for that. on his birthday as well. Happy birthday, everyone.
I suppose from the perfect scenario would have for it to have gone another couple of rounds, but Kid has been badly hurt, and I suppose what it indicates is that Frampton's power, and I've always said that he's the hardest puncher super bantamweight in the world. There isn't a harder puncher, and if you look at everybody is screaming about Guillermo Rigondeaux, but look what happened to him the last time. We fought a Japanese guy. Big stringy kid who couldn't really hit, and he was dropped twice and very badly hurt. From Frampton hits him, he's going to knock him out. But we'll hit him when I want him to hit him. So it's not an exciting fight in a minute. It's not something that attracts us. Quig does, Santa Cruz does, and that's a fight we want. But this guy is the best super bantamweight in the world, and we're going to prove it. So we want these unification fights. Quig was there today.
Donaire's also dropped down.
Yeah, and Donaire's come down as well. So there's many good fights out there for us. We really feel like we want to go and box in England now, and we'd like to go and box in America as well. But we want to try and get the timing right. And we really believe that there is a future to be had with ITV. We hope that ITV were excited about tonight. And I just really think that they're, you know, we can have the fight with Quigg and ITV. As long as he's not, you know, if he's just sensible and not too greedy, that fight can happen.
Well, you're prompting the obvious next question. What is next? Or what is most likely to be next?
We genuinely don't know what's next. We know that Quigg turned up tonight, so he's obviously interested in the fight, and we're genuinely interested in a fight with him, and we're willing to compromise. But you know, as long as he remembers that we've got the valid title, this kid's the best super bantamweight in the world. He crowds arenas. He put 16,000 in for his world title fight, 9,000 tonight. He could have had it twice over. And you know, he's got the regular title, so you know, as long as he understands that, and I don't want to be rude to him, and he can draw obviously a fair amount of people in this hometown, but this kid is the attraction, and I really can't wait to see what the results from ITV was tonight, because you know, he genuinely is, you know, an amazing talent, and the arena tonight was just incredible. I honest to God don't think it's ever been like that before.
You get
Sorry,
any
Kevin.
feedback from ITV, Barry, about how
Well,
they...
you know, we've just been going back to the dressing room, so we it's very hard to get it in an instant. So we'll sit down with Niall and over the next while and over the next few days. So we've got a bit of a party tomorrow at lunchtime, and then we'll head back to England tomorrow evening, and we would like to sit down with ITV this week.
Did you feel, Carl, you went another level tonight with that performance?
I feel like there's slight improvements on each performance. I feel like it was my best performance to date, and if you look back over my last 5 or 6 fights, they have all been getting gradually better. But I felt comfortable in there tonight. I felt comfortable against Kiko the last time. I felt even more comfortable tonight. He seemed very slow to me. And
I think it's because your footwork was so electric.
Well, I knew everything that was coming. I could see it.
He's obviously had a much longer reach, but it was completely nullified by your ability to get inside.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was hitting with my right hand a lot of the time. Shane would tell me to throw the left hook after it, and wasn't listening. I was tried it sometimes, caught him a couple of times, just throwing the left hook by itself as well. But to give him a bit of respect, he was tough. He was still on his feet there, you know, and. He was gone. He was absolutely gone. I think referees get a bit of stick sometimes, but I think Hart Foster jumped in at exactly the right moment there. He could have got seriously hurt.
He could, not saying don't be disrespectful to him, but he winced and turned away, and that was how Foster's intervened, and that's the end of the fight.
Carl, all the fans that I spoke to before and after the fight all said the same thing about me prompting them, that you have like a cross-community appeal, your relationship with Christine, the way you conduct yourself, that you're bringing communities together, and I'm just wondering what you make of that, how you feel that what you're doing is about more than sport.
Look, I'm just being normal, you know, and I just happen to be married to a girl from a different religion, but that's all really, and it's nice and humbling obviously that people look at it that way, but I'm just being nice to people, you know, treat people how you'd like to be treated yourself, and that's it really. I'm not doing anything different.
It's the thing we like to put in the past, and we deliberately don't do anthems. We deliberately tell all of our fighters on our bills not to wear colours that are going to alienate people. We make a big effort because it's very important to us that we portray the right image. He's an amazing kid. He's a lovely, lovely kid from the Protestant loyalist area, married a girl from the Republican area. That's gone. These just love each other and we married her, and that's the way it should be. And we want people to he's such a great role model, he's such a great example. Just get on with life. You know, we live 70 if we're lucky, so just get on with each other. And that's all by the by, you know, so we take that and we run with it.
Barry, do you know what Quigg's situation is with Sky? Is he on a fight-by-fight deal, or...?
I think he is. I think that's the situation with it. You know, and I know he's managed by... Who's he managed by?
Paul Speak.
He's managed by Paul Speak.
Not so much, he's self-managed.
Oh, he's self-managed.
He's not on a contract with Sky.
But he's not on a contract with Sky, so the deal can be done. And he's a really nice kid, and he's a very good fighter.
Yeah.
Hell of a fighter. Really like him. And I love the fact that he comes over here and gets into the ring, and he really wants to fight.
Him.
No, we didn't invite him, we gave him a free seat, but nevertheless, he's still...
Half price.
Carl, what stage of the fight tonight, do you think you actually had him in the second round? He had a bit of a Victor Ortiz moment where he looked around, you pounced on him, then in the third you clipped him with a right as well and stopped him forward.
He started pulling away, I don't know, and said his arm was sore, and the referee didn't say anything, so...
Protect yourself at all times, and I
hit
said, get him!
It was in every right
When
to
he
do
turned his
so.
back, he was perfectly entitled to go.
Yeah.
So,
Did you catch him very clean at that moment?
I had him a clean enough shot, but I think it was just before that he called me a bitch or a pussy. He punched like a pussy. That's what he said in the ring, second and third round.
And he said something at the start of the fight as well, didn't he?
It's only me and you now, boy. That's what he said.
At what point did he stop talking?
He was still talking. No, he was still talking when he was going. When he was saying something. I don't know what he was saying, but he was trying to say something.
Barry, just how big do you think the quick fight can be? Can we have more than 16,000 out of people?
Oh God, are you joking me? I wouldn't even pay for the two of them. Charges £1,000 a ticket. No, I think the fight can be a 30,000 seater, definitely. And
Well, then you're obviously outdoors.
of course it's outdoors, yeah. And you could do it at the MEN, which can indoors in 20,000. The O2 in London is 20,000. Queen's Park Rangers football ground.
Rings a bell.
Yeah, rings a bell. And there's, our sponsor CWMFX sponsors Chelsea, so it's Stamford Bridge, only up the road from where he lives. He's a Chelsea boy.
Brantford, I support.
So there's many possibilities, and we want the fight. We really want the fight, and if Hearn, he keeps pushing this pay-per-view thing. Well, let's be honest with it. It's a much better fight on terrestrial TV. Let's do a Chris Eubank, Nigel Benn fight. Pardon?
Nearly any fight is better on terrestrial.
It's a great fight on terrestrial TV. It'll make these kids superstars, and we can do it if they can be a little bit less greedy. I know he will. Eddie's the only one who's been talking about, because he thinks of the numbers all the time. Well, let's think about the game. Let's think about the possibilities of it being free to air, and for millions and millions of people to watch and enjoy, because it would be a great fight until Carl hits him. That's cheeky. It will be a great fight, and it will be, and it has the potential to be huge. And boxing has a future on terrestrial TV. And if we mix it with what these guys do from day to day, and we can do diary stuff 24/7 behind hooks, whatever you call that, in conjunction with the actual events, and nobody can tell me that event tonight wasn't a spectacular event and worth watching. And I really genuinely believe the fight can be made on terrestrial TV. And
I agree, that's the future, because if it stays on satellite or pay-per-view, it's going to be very... It's already in danger of being very...
And what do you think's happening across the water? What's Al Heyman doing? On NBC and CBS, is that the other channel?
CBS.
So he's bought time. He wants it to be back on it, because he realises the value of being on free-to-air television, and we should too. And if we're all less greedy, this can be a major event in the summer on ITV.
And you're happy for Carl to be in England against Spurs?
Of course. Wherever he wants it. I think I'll bring more of a crowd than he would anyway. I bring a lot of people from England to watch my fights.
Someone could be raving though.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where it is. I'm happy. But an away trip is always good as well. You get the noisy fans over.
I think it's time for us to go. It's time for us to go over to England. I really genuine. All the fans want to travel.
Goodbye to Belfast for a while then.
Pardon?
Goodbye to Belfast.
No, I'm not. That don't. Jesus, Jim. Protect yourself. Well, no, but that is one thing like that, and another thing. Putting words in my mouth. Yeah, there's every chance we can go down south, but the reality is, if we're going to go with ITV, our audience is in England or the UK. So and that's where it would be nice to be sort of happy medium, give him, we're not taking him to Belfast, so we'll happily take him.
If that's a stumbling block, you could have it neutral, you know, in London, I suppose, if that's what it's going to take to do it. There's plenty of places we could do it outdoors.
Carl,
is now the right time
the
for
box,
this kind of...
sorry, go on.
You know, since you won the Commonwealth belt, Quigg had the British belt for years, it was kind of building and building and building. Is now actually the moment to do it?
I think now is the perfect time to do it. It has to happen now. It should happen now. I always said from the start of my career I wanted to win a British title, and he never allowed me to fight for a British title, and I'm obviously well past that level now, but the fight's just been brewing, and luckily I haven't been beat. He's had a couple of draws, but it's time to do it now. It has to happen now.
Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather has been announced. It's great for the game. You know, we're back on terrestrial TV. It's back on terrestrial television in America. The fight's going to happen. We're not going to be in the way. The only thing that's going to happen, the only thing that's going to cause it to stumble is the possibility of somebody being greedy.
In a way, I suppose, with the Pacquiao Mayweather thing, I mean, boxing's going to be Richard Crescendo, I suppose, that month, and the casual fans are going to be attracted to it, so...
Well, that won't be on pay...
won't hurt.
You know, that won't be on free-to-air television, yeah. But, you know, this one can.
Carl, how's your hands after?
My hand's okay. It's a little bit of swelling on it, but the left hand was the one that was damaged in the last fight, and it's fine, but this is a tiny bit of swelling, just normal. Bit of ice on it will sort it out.
And then you mentioned a few days ago that you probably thought a stop might be a bit later than it was tonight. Were you pleasantly surprised tonight, or were you like it was quite ruthless the way you went about it?
No, I thought the defining factor was when he hit him in the second round. He went to break and Carl jumped on him and hit him hard. Actually, about 20 seconds before that, he stunned him as well with the right hand. And after then, he slowed right down. And I think he was a sitting duck, and he started giving Carl some ground, and Carl started pushing him back, and he can't fight on the back foot. The difference is that Chris Avalos is a fringe world-class fighter. You know, he's a mandatory in 2 governing bodies, but you know, Carl Frampton's he's a level above that, and I think he's going to go on a unified division. I think he's one of the best pound
I
fighters.
like your phrase, a fringe world-class fighter.
Avalos is.
If you compare Avalos with Leo Santa Cruz's first defence, though, Rigondeaux's first defence, Big's first defence, you had the tougher first defence.
Of course. If you look through the rankings, he was probably the highest ranked contender without a belt. He was number 1 with IBF, number 1 with WBO, highly ranked with the WBA and WBC. So I think he was a credible opponent for my first defence. And I needed to get him out of the road. He's a mandatory. I had to fight him. I didn't want to be getting into a potential Quigg fight. And they're talking about doing the Quigg fight after the Kiko fight, with me vacating the belt and going in with nothing. Now, you know, I have time here for a voluntary. That's another thing people need to understand. This is Scott Quigg fighting now for my world title. It's not a unification fight. I don't believe it is. It's him fighting for my IBF title.
It's looking likely now it's going to be you and Quigg, but Gary Hyde sent me a message there. He says, Steve, let Barry know Rigondeaux is easy to make and will travel no problem. Give him my number.
Why didn't Gary Hyde say it to me 2 hours ago when we met in the...
that's Gary, you know.
You know, he never... You know,
it's in the name, mate.
That guy hasn't spoke to me personally, and I've met him a half dozen times. He's never said to me, Barry, can we sit down and talk?
Seriously?
He's never once spoke to me.
We said to Chris Avalos, well actually Carl said it, he says you picked the wrong jackal, because the other jackal would outbox you for 12 rounds longer and knock you out. And he did exactly that.
But here's the thing about Rigondeaux. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any money at all. You know, I talked earlier about the greed. It's a fight that's down the line, but if of the 3 other ones, the ones are much more exciting. The ones that really make great fights, Santa Cruz and Quigg, and then Rigondeaux is further down the line, and if we can do business, definitely that's a fight we want to have. But the other 2 make much more sense, right?
Yeah. Shane, do you think he beats them all now, all 3 of them?
I think he beats them all. I said to Dad about a year ago, I said he's going to beat them all. And Dad said, oh, yeah, in time, you know, but I believed it then, I believe it now even more so. I think he's getting better. He can take guys out, you know, he can box in the front foot. He was always good going back, now he can fight aggressively, but do it in emphatic style. And you know, what he did to Chris Avalos tonight was ruthless, you know what I mean? And that's a level that you have to get out your fighter, and we have to bring out Carl Frampton. We brought it out of him tonight, and he brought it out of himself, because he just keeps raising the game, raising the bar. You know, he's a world-class fighter. He's always been world-class, but he's going to be one of the best.
Is Santa Cruz off the menu now? I mean, he's getting huge money, isn't he?
I don't think he's going to fight anyone.
Totally
We'll keep it in house with him, and he'll probably fight Mara before he fights any of the super bantamweights.
But don't kick it out of the park. There's always a possibility.
He's just left Golden Boy, so he left Golden Boy to go with Al Heyman, which means he's going down NBC, whatever the TV channel is, which means they've been talking about that Abner Morris fight for a long time. I think a genuine fight for us would look if once we get Quigg out of the way, we've got either Rigondo or we've got Danair. I think Danair's still got some stuff left in him at 122. I think he's a massive name and would be a great fight for us.
He's back at 122 now,
Come back down.
Yeah, apparently. But you know, there's many fights out, and we're not going to say what we're going to have. We told you our preferred choice. I think it makes sense that we have Quigg next. That's the one that. But this is not a license for him to come back and say I want, you know, crazy money, because he's not going to do that. You know, we want it to be unterrestrial.
That was actually my question for Carl. If you leave aside the boxing the business aspects of boxing or the politics, what is your preference next? Presumably Quigg?
Quigg, yeah. Definitely.
Carl, you always said that the parody atmosphere was the best. Do you feel that topped it?
That was better. I don't know what. I think it was the ring entrance for the party. He picked the ring song for it, and they loved it. They went mad for it, but I think that one was better.
Mr. Buffer had it as well.
Oh, Mr. Buffer. What do you think of Buffer, boys? Only special?
I never got a photo with him either.
I think he said.
There's a few
online if you stand beside him.
Jerry Callan says personally I think he's insufferable.
And I've always felt that.
But he is brilliant.
You see his missus, Jerry?
He sits there when we called him actually at any time. He sits there with a bird in front of him, doing his hair, or at least I think that's what
Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
Can you hear that?
Listen, anybody else want a sensible question, please?
No, not really. Sometimes when the door's open, I heard
hold on. When Steve came back in, when the door was open, you not hear it when he said they're making a lot of noise out there.
A wee bit, but the door opens and it closes, you know. And I always love watching the YouTube videos of the people in the crowd that are recording. I love that.
Did you hear a Buffer in the ring? I couldn't hear him.
But I could hear him.
He said that afterwards, Kieran, that he couldn't hear himself.
It was just so loud. So maxing out the thing.
What I found about Bubba, it takes that little bit longer. Wait, those introductions took ages, didn't they? I was going like,
it's worth every second.
Billy Lennon Jr. is infinitely better.
Oh no, come on.
And a nicer guy.
That's a
We're going to knock this on the head. It's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay,
Carl's got to do
Carl's got to get your drug test.
You got a test, so thank you.
Thanks, lad.
Thank you.